Okay, hey, I found a picture of a banana. Pencil drawings of love on Pinterest, but I've drawn a banana myself. I'm going to use a cotton bud later. And yeah, I cheated, look. I drew around a banana. But I'm going to have a go at drawing one now. So if you haven't got a banana, you can just draw one with me. If you've got a banana, you can cheat and draw around a banana. I changed mine a little bit. I've made that a bit shorter. Should cut that off with a pair of scissors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw now. And what I'm going to use is just the curve of my hand. So the curve of my hand, and then I'm going to pull that in. And then I can make it wider or thicker or however I like. And I'm going to pull that there and then come down, and that's going to be the bit where you break it off, and then that's the general shape. Now on mine I've got that's where I use some water on the pen, so I'm going to have a go at working on my banana now. Going to have a go at putting that in there. That stalk is going to go across there, and my parents used to call this pinky fruit when it used to go off, but it's gone over ripe. In our house now we call it manky fruit. So if you've got a piece of pinky fruit, manky fruit, overripe banana, then it makes a more interesting banana. If you've got a perfect one, well, you can follow me, or you could do a perfect one. Obviously this banana is going to be made into a banana muffin eventually, because if you get overripe banana, they're very good for banana muffins. So handy hint, if your bananas go off, make some muffins with them, because they crush down really easy. So this one's got a series of dots and blemishes on, and so I'm going to try and get in those blemishes. Really, I should sit there and study the blemishes exactly, but every banana's blemishes are in different bits, so as long as you haven't got the original banana to look at, then you'll be fine. So there's a little bit there, notice like that, and that comes down a bit and up round. There's a big dot there, there's a bit going over there, a bit there. Now over this side, this is broken off, it's got some bruising there. Now I am going to stop now and show you how I'm going to get the smudging. I've got a cup of water and I'm going to dip a cotton bud in there. So there's a cotton bud, I dip it in the water, and then I'm going to shade out. Now I could use a brush, like a paintbrush, but I'm thinking if you haven't got a paintbrush, you watch a video and it says use this, use that, you haven't got a paintbrush, then you're scuppered before you start. So I've actually tried to use anything that you might have at home. Obviously if you've watched this after the pandemic, you'll be thinking, oh, I wonder why he's doing that, but there's a pandemic, you can't get out, so I'm just using what I've got in the house. Now on my one I've got some shading there, and what I've did is this. Do not, by the way, put that in wet, this picture, but if I wanted to get some shading, I could use my pen there, and when I've got some pen there, get my wet bud and then put my shading in. So that's going to cast a shadow on the table. What I should have done, by the way, is rub that pencil mark out before it got wet, because it will rip up my paper if my paper's too wet. But that's how to get the shading in. edge out, just get a little bit more water on there and treat it like a watercolor where you put less pigment in there so you can fade. More pigment near the, you need some more. I'm going to shade on there more. Don't put it in the wet because it'll ruin your end of your pencil, your pen, and then it won't draw. So I'm always just drawing on a dry bit of paper and then going over. Now I don't want to draw into this until it's dry. Now if you are, because I want that edge nice and sharp there. If you are going to draw into your picture, then what you could force it with a hairdryer. So you dry it with a hairdryer and it'll dry it quicker. But this is the one that I did a little bit earlier where I drew around my banana. And then I can then work into it more. So this is dry, this picture's dry. So, and where I get like a bumpy edge on one side, I'm going to use the curve of my hand, look, as my hand curves around. So I can get a nice sharp tight line. Now I noticed on my banana that I was drawing, it's brown. Now if you are lucky enough to have a really nice water soluble pencils that are brown, those are lovely expensive pencils, you could actually go in there and shade in there with a brown pencil and actually get it looking, like the real bruises. You still can do it with, some old pencils that you might have, but you want that to be dry and then shade into it with a dry pencil. But that is a banana. That is how to draw it, and I used just a cotton bud, and a cup of water, and then blended it out. That's doing a little bit more. Oh, there's one thing I forgot to mention. When I get these little marks in there like this, and I put these blemishes, if they're looking a bit tight and you don't have to smudge them over the top, you can just get a clean bud, like the clean end, and then you just dab it on there. And you can dab them out. And you can actually, those marks there where I've actually dabbed just like that, and that's how I get these little subtle marks where it's slightly going off, and you get little lighter areas like on the banana. You can in that banana, I never drew those, but there we go. That's how to draw a banana using a cotton bud, to get the tones.